Now, welcome to another lightning response video, where initially this was going to be a let's talk some Star Wars about what is your favorite thing in Star Wars. It was going to be a very fun and happy video, and that will be my next video either tomorrow or Monday or whenever. But for now, I'm going to do a question that kind of piggybacks off the video from the other day, and it comes to us from Cypher10, who asked, "Hey Thor, I think the main issue is that the internet has made it easier and easier for people to find echo chambers where everyone thinks the same way they do, to the point where people get radicalized in their beliefs. Before the internet, you had to talk with people at your school, in your neighborhood, etc., and you had various points of view and were able to relate to others better. Sadly, I think it will get worse." And I think a lot of people who are old enough to remember life before the internet or the coming of the internet and what it was promised to be, which was this thing that was going to unite the world, that we would be able to communicate with people across the planet and that we would be able to find information and share information freely, and it was going to be this amazing thing that would just make the world a better place. And to some degree, it has, certainly. This is not meant to be a hate on the internet or social media video or that things were better back in my day before it ever existed, because in many ways things were not better back in the day. In my mind, my belief, there is unquestionably things that the internet has made better when it comes to the world. And of course, there are also things that have been made worse by it, which is perhaps just the way people treat each other. Because as this comment pointed out, we don't interact with each other as much as we used to or in the same ways. I have a job, if I may so boldly call what I do a job because I love it so much, but I have a job where I could literally never interact with another person if I didn't want to. I could just make videos, I could ignore comments and not ever interact with people, which is one of my favorite parts of doing this, but I could just make videos, throw them out there, and hopefully people would keep watching and I could make enough money to sit in an apartment somewhere, order Grubhub, order from Amazon, do anything and everything I have to do when it comes to paying bills online, and never again have to talk to or interact with another person if I really didn't want to. And that's why when my wife comes home from work, I'm usually like, let's get out of the house, let's go do something, let's go for a walk. I don't care what it is, I just want to get out of here, because that's not the kind of person I am or want to be. But my point is, we now live in a world where many people can just avoid interactions with other people, social interactions. And though that's nice for people who are more introverted and don't want to interact with other people, that does also make us feel more separate from each other than we ever have before. I think one of the greatest losses brought about primarily by the internet is the loss of the sense of community. Most of us don't even know who our neighbors are anymore, where once upon a time, and not that long ago, you knew most of the people who lived around you. You knew who the local baker was. You knew who the local shop owner was. You knew these people. You interacted with them. You saw their place and purpose in society. You understood that, hey, I need these other people. The jobs they do are important. Whereas nowadays, again, many of us just sit at home. Grubhub magically shows up at my front door. No worries about the farmer who initially made it all happen. Amazon drops off my latest package of things I need or just want. Who cares that there's a guy in town who has a shop who sells it? I'd have to drive there and spend $1 more. If I need to fix a problem, I go online and I either talk to an AI these days, or I find some other way that doesn't involve having to communicate with another person. And so when you do go out in the world, you just see people as obstacles in your way. You don't, again, appreciate that, yeah, we all do or should have a place and a purpose and a function, and allows us to see value in each other. And furthermore, when we do go online, when we go on social media, we're not necessarily seeking out the truth usually. We're seeking out a way to be right. We're seeking out other people who will tell us what we already believe is correct, that are reinforcing our worldview. We're not looking to be challenged, and we don't have to be, because there are so many other people out there who do believe the same way we do. And when we find all of these other people, it again just confirms we must already be right. How could all of these other people who think just like me and who have the same view or belief as me be wrong? How could this new community I found be wrong? It must be the other side who just doesn't see things our way. And this is, of course, basically tribalism, which is one of our most basic instincts, you could say. That, and being selfish, I think, is one of our most basic instincts. And I'm not saying the need to survive and to find others who will defend us or stand alongside of us when we are challenged or attacked is necessarily wrong or anything. It's a basic human instinct. It is what helped people survive long before society and even into the time of civilization, because Well, even to this day, there are people who would love to come in and destroy your way of life for any number of reasons, or simply because they can. But anyway, my point is, of course, we seek out people who think like us and who will stand alongside of us and who will fight alongside of us for what we believe and what we need. It only makes sense. And in many ways, what Star Wars, and yes, I'm going to relate this back to Star Wars as I always do, what Star Wars tries to say, what the Jedi try to say, is that, you know what? If we were all compassionate, if we all tried to look at everybody else as just another person trying to make it in this crazy ass world, if we fought against our selfish nature, and I'm not saying the need to survive, we all need to survive. There are certain things we need in life just to make it to the next day. I get that. I'm not saying you should be totally selfless and never try to take anything for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say here is what the Jedi are trying to say in Star Wars is that if you're compassionate first, if you try to treat people with compassion and you try not to be overly selfish where you're just taking anything and everything just because you can get your grubby little hands on it, it makes the world a better place. If everybody just treated each other a little bit better, the world on the whole improves. That's what balance in Star Wars is. I know I rant and rave about it all the time, but so many people seem to get lost in the weeds when it comes to what Star Wars is all about. It's actually very simple, and it is something that could easily be translated into the real world and how we could also live. And again, it's not easy because it does involve each individual having to fight against those basic instincts of me first. That's why, as we've seen throughout Star Wars, you cannot ever truly defeat the dark side. That's why the dark side is embracing those things. That's what the Sith represent. They represent a lack of self-control. They represent selfishness. They represent anger and lashing out and just destroying your opponents because anybody who opposes you must be wrong because I'm always right. That sort of thing. I also think going along with this that attention is a hell of a drug, that we now live in a world, again, where everybody has a voice online, and if nobody is listening to you and you really crave someone to just pay attention to you, you're going to be willing to do or say pretty much anything to get that attention. And once you start to get it, again, it is addicting. And I think and want to believe that some of the really stupid things that sometimes people say online are more so not something they believe, hopefully, but again, something to get attention, something to get other people worked up and to get a reaction from them. Because I don't want to believe that some people can be as cold and callous as they are online with the things they say. And yes, as I discussed in a video a couple of weeks ago at this point, I do believe some people are evil. Some people, yes, they know exactly what they are doing and saying and are intentionally trying to provoke people and cause havoc in the world. There are bad people among us, but I do hope and believe that most people are decent people who, yes, have empathy and sympathy and compassion for others. And as I was basically advocating for in the previous video, the video that this question comes from, if we would try to listen more to other people instead of just the people who are saying what we wanted to hear, maybe we would understand we're not really that different, that perhaps we're fighting the wrong battles. Like I was just saying, there are evil people in this world, and I think they can be found on both sides at the extremes. And if we perhaps stop listening to the extremes and try to find some middle ground, the rest of us might be able to find some peace. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm too optimistic for my own good sometimes. But I do believe, I have to believe, that most of us just want the same things in life. We want to find our little place, our little purpose. We want a peaceful life with those we care about, with those we love, and we want to try to get along with those we don't know and don't agree with always, for the betterment of all, for the balance, you could say. But anyway, I think I've once again rambled enough for one video. The next video, I promise, will be a fun Star Wars video. I had like 600 some people respond to the question about what's your favorite thing in Star Wars, which is awesome. I love talking the positive things about life and Star Wars, but sometimes, and I don't know, maybe people enjoy videos like this. Maybe people want me to do more videos like this. I have no idea. But either way, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars and just talk in general. And until next time, thanks for watching.